Traditional Nepal is a place where women and children are respected and cared for. It is a country where women are worshipped as goddesses of wisdom, power, and wealth. Although life is not perfect and there are challenges, the public carries a tremendous compassion for mothers and children. In the last 6 decades, this sentiment and cultural values have also degraded tremendously. Confusions brought by Western education have left women's lives stranded. On one hand, the lives of women and children seem like they are improving. However, on the other, it has made life extremely difficult and confusing. Here in this episode, we will try to explore the life of Nepali women and children from tradition to modernization, with the hope that we will keep the respect and care alive. Featured in this episode, a conversation with Rukmini Karki about her experiences both as an immigrant child and immigrant mother herself, and excerpts from a speech given in MIT. Hi, this is Aruna Sharma. Welcome to Cultural Nepal. Today I have a very special guest to discuss about Nepali culture and experiences in a very unique perspective. Rukmini Karki, she has lived 10 years in America, but she herself has born and raised in a part of Indian state called Manipur, and her perspective on Nepali culture from her own experience in Manipur and in both Nepal and America is very unique, and we have a pleasure to introduce Rukmini Karki.
Hello.
Welcome to our program, and thank you for giving us some of your insight and experience. So would you like to introduce yourself first in your own word?
Thank you, Aruna. My name is Rukmini Karki, and I came to United States in 2005 as a student at Brandeis University. So I was, as you said, I was born and raised up in India, a place called Imphal, a very small town in northeastern part, border to Burma, and I stayed there and raised up. And after that, I came to Nepal and stayed for 8 years. Then I came to United States.
Although we both are Nepali by our heritage, I, in one hand, have never been to any other country before United States. I was born and raised for 3 generations in Kathmandu, whereas for you, you have seen more than I have in a Nepali person yourself, and then not only been in America, but have experience of being and living in different similar kind of culture. But could you please tell more about how it is different to live in India versus in America as a Nepali lady, Nepali woman?
Thank you. That's a very interesting question to me, and I'm really happy to answer that. My parents moved to Manipur when my father was in British Army, and during the Second World War, when the war ended, he actually, I should say, stayed over there and came back, and maybe he took my mom, and we are 9 children from same parents, and the Nepali culture in Manipur, actually, I should say, like until I came to Nepal in 1997, I haven't seen any people from Nepal in Manipur directly. I knew only people who were there. And so when I was a child, like when people come with traditional clothes of Nepali, daura and sural with topi, we were really stunning looking at him, and oh my gosh, is he the king of Nepal? We rarely have that opportunity to watch people with their dress. And the people who migrated to Manipur was not in a very good position. They were all seasonal workers from Nepal, looking for a living better condition and also looking for the education for their children. So what I have seen in my community in Nepal, it's called Mantri Pokhri in Imphal area, where the majority of Nepalese people were there. I still remember that how we celebrated this Durga Puja and Bhai Tika. And when I moved to Nepal, when I saw these two cultural differences, I felt that we really celebrated more importantly in Manipur, because it was the minor population who really preserved that culture than whereas with people with the majority staying in one place. That is what I felt.
I think growing up in Kathmandu as a native, I was more fascinated of Western culture or Indian culture, and I think I took more for granted of everyday Nepali culture. But when I come to America, it was more important to me, and I missed more to focus on those cultural aspects of my culture that I brought up with, and I could relate to that. But it was fascinating to know that you never met Nepali origin people when you were in Manipur. So is there any Nepali community in Manipur? How, like, can you also, I think our audience probably also would like to hear more about Gorkha immigration trend and, you know, a little bit of history of, you know.
Yeah, actually, like what I have seen, like from my family, like the student Gorkha Student Union. My older brother was the general secretary of that, and at that time, like I think what I experienced is my family was a well-educated family, and people from who lives in the village area, they come and take consult or advice from my father, because she was the one who brought Nepalese people, his friends, families, brother from Nepal to Manipur at that place, because for them it was the best place for the children education, very good what you call weather, education, very cheap place and very good food, healthy living. People always like healthy food and a healthy environment. So it's a small town, and I've seen what I said, like I met so many Nepali peoples in Manipur, but they were already there. But any new people who came from Nepal was very unique things for us.
I see.
Yes.
So it was more integrated in the culture.
Yes.
Nepali people were more, and it's easier because the culture is very close to what we, you know, from food to, you know, the terrain, geographical terrain and all that. So it's very close. So it's much more blended there than in America, I believe. Is that true?
Yeah.
How do you distinguish cultural blend in America versus cultural blend in India? And for a lot of people, there's not even much distinctions, right?
Actually, I should say that like in Manipur, it's what's a very diverse community. The place where I was raised, there were a lot of Bengali people, Punjabi people, and people from Bihar, and people from all parts of India, because they were in Manipur for the business. So the Nepalese people who were there were mostly, they were either from army group or either some of the people they does the farming. Their main occupation was farming. So and so.
You mean like for as general?
As a general, as a whole, not too much people. Nepali, like no, okay. We were like
anybody.
We were around like I could say like 10 to 15,000 Nepalese people.
Oh.
Out of 10 to 15,000, maybe 5% were really highly educated who were in government position at the time. So.
And what is the population of Manipur
during that time?
Yes.
I cannot give you the exact figure, but could be 2 millions.
2 millions. Okay.
Yes, and it's again Manipur is a place where the original peoples are the Nagas and the Manipuris.
Yes.
And this will be a long story if I tell you, but let's come to and focus to the Nepalese culture.
Yes.
And Nepalese people who really lived in Imphal at that area where I was raised. So when, as you said that, what I feel here in America, I will skip the Nepal part because the majority of the peoples are in Nepal. But when I came here in 2005 in United States, here in Boston, when I see on 3-4 peoples in the bus stand or subway or MBTA, I was so excited. Oh my gosh, Nepalese people here too. I knew, but later I know there are 20,000 people in Somerville area.
20,000
in
now?
greater Boston areas.
wow.
But during
Wow.
that 10 years ago when I was new here,
Right.
when I see 2 people, oh my gosh, are you Nepali? Are you Nepali? Namaste, namaste. So I was so excited.
And you will be
Eventually,
surprised.
yes.
When I came here in 1990, there were like 3 or 4 families. And they were never, like I would not have met them if I didn't have the direct number of the person who was living here, a student. And so you barely could find anybody when I came here. And I was lucky enough to meet somebody I already knew, like my friend's sister. But I would get excited seeing people from South America with the same hair color and skin, and kind of try to feel that they are from Nepal. They look alike. So it's how it has evolved. Nepali community has evolved. It's amazing to me. And not only that, I am very proud to have you in our community as a president. Tell more about yourself. About
Nepali Women Global
Nepali
Network.
Women's Global Network
Yes.
organization, and you have been very big contribution to the community to glue together and bring back all this fun celebration that we do every year, and make people feel like at home with the food and cultural and everything. So another curiosity that I have is, so your parents immigrated from Nepal to Burma first.
No, in Manipur.
Manipur directly.
Yes.
Okay.
Actually, my father was in the British Army. So when war ended,
Okay.
he came back to Nepal and took the family to Manipur.
Yes. So recently there was a movie about our Nepali documentary yesterday, on Sunday. So it tells a lot about Nepali history and British Gorkha history. Can you highlight a brief introduction of what is that about British Army and Gorkha?
Actually, the movie was The Last Monarch.
Okay.
It was not about the British Army or the British Gorkha. It was about the history of Nepal, like how the Shah dynasty ended and how many years they ruled. And actually the producer of the film, the director and the producer of the film were my friend who came from Nepal. And they will be traveling into United States with this movie. And this movie is the longest documentary movie in Nepal, which people has really watched. And during that time, yesterday when I went to the movie, and I learned from that movie that it really took 10 years for them to do the research, because they collected the fact, and it was documentary, and it also shows the Rana regime and the monarch system and how the people reacted and what the government system of Nepal. It was a lot. So it was an information type of movie.
So there was no highlight about war between British and
no.
Okay,
it was not about that.
Okay, so but anyhow, I think it would be interesting to know about how the Gorkha soldiers started working for British Army, and how the immigration started in Nepal, because I don't think many people immigrated like it today back in old days, except for going to work for Gorkha armies, right, in India for British. So can you tell us a little bit about that, and then how you...
Actually, I can tell you about how these people from Nepal went to the Second World War, but that time it's a very long time ago. So what I remember now, there is still the British Army has left that regiment, and still there are armies, battalions still what exist in many parts of India. And there are the Assam Rifles, which is in the northeastern side of India, where still many of the Nepalis are the army, main army people there. So when the British ended their rule in India, I think the regiment ended. But there are still people from Nepal, or the people who stayed in India still from long time. They have been serving to India as a Nepali Gorkha armies. So they still exist. And one thing I would like to highlight, because as you said, so I'm very proud to say that maybe not because my father was in the army, but he was in a very short time. But I would love to say that my sister, she's in India and she's the Director General of Police at this time. And it's a very pride to Nepali people, like being a woman. She has the highest like a position in India, and she is based in Manipur right now. And she's known by Bandana Karki. And she was in the in India. There's a system like you have to pass a commission exam, and she went through all this exam.
Very competitive,
very competitive, and very challenging position for a woman into that position.
So what it says is there are a lot of people who has migrated to India, which was the preliminary phase of, I think, migration phenomenon in Nepali community, has been pretty successful in India, and partly maybe because of the cultural similarities and it's easier. But having said that, I'm curious about your mother had, how many children you have? Your mother had 9 children. So I try to imagine what it feels to live in different country, although they have their similar cultural background, living in a different country, still a different country, and having 9 children and raising those children there at that time. Can you share some of the experience in your perspective? How do you see your mom, and how your mom had a struggle? Was there any struggle in cultural integration? Doesn't sound that much, but was there anything that you felt different living in Manipur? Did you feel any difference that you were from Nepal and you had a little bit differences and could not, some of your...
It's not an easy question, but I'll try to answer you. Actually, like until I came to Nepal in 1997 as a student, I can never imagine the life of people in Nepal, how that would look like than in Manipur. We're a very small community, and as you said that 9 children in one family, I don't know, like when I have one daughter right now, and it's so difficult for me to raise, so difficult for me to balance all my work life and the schedule here in this situation. But back home in Manipur, we have extended family. I have seen my grandmother with my mom and my grandfather, my granduncles, and we are extended family. Like I don't know about how you experience about Nepal, but in Imphal, we have houses like my aunt house, my uncle house, not very too far. And my grandparents live in a village where my mom took us in a what you call vacation time, where really I enjoyed. And I was talking just 2 days ago how we used to go there and jumped into the river directly.
In you mean your grandparents were in Nepal?
Not in Manipur.
Manipur. So your grandparents also came?
Yes, after, yes, they came.
Oh, I see.
So that is how, like you, without even learning swimming and all, you go directly to the grandparents' house and in a village, and how you
swim in a river.
In a river directly. So I was telling that yesterday to my daughter, actually, when she has a swimming school, they go step by step, and I said, we never have that school, we just go dive. So that was different thing. So I don't see any difficulties raising my mother face.
So there
raising
was
us.
More simple.
She might have. Now I can see when I became mother, but during that time, I don't see, I don't felt, because she was a very brave lady. Yes. So, and she handled the situation.
And she had the support.
Yes, she had the support.
Like family support, and support. Your father's support.
Yes.
And it was more simple life back then. Just stay home and take care of your children, and children are running around in a safe,
giving best education,
community.
Taking care. And no matter what, whether you have an extended family to help or not, but raising children are not easy really. If it, 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, doesn't matter, but it's not easy.
So then you went to Nepal after how many years did you, like how old were you when you went to Nepal?
Actually, I went to Nepal after my graduate, when I did my graduate, then I went to Nepal to do my master's. I was like maybe 23 years old at the time.
So was that was not the first time?
That was the first time ever.
Ever you went to Nepal?
Yes.
At the age of 23, after being born and raised in Manipur?
I went to Nepal, and in my own country, I became an immigrant again, because I was not born in Nepal.
Right. So you were Indian citizen. You went to Nepal as
and became a Nepali citizen by generation, not by birth. Nepal has that provision, like if your parents are Nepalese, then you can be a citizen through them, right? To get admission, to get admission in colleges, to stay in Nepal, you need to be a citizen of Nepal. So at the time, my father applied the citizenship for me.
So how did you feel going in Nepal? Can you share your experiences? Did you feel like you belong? You had the similar experience, or
no.
Did you feel like you were a little foreigner?
I felt like I'm a foreigner.
Okay.
I felt like I'm a foreigner because of the language, because of the culture, because, you know, like even though I'm a Nepali, but I am raised in a very different culture.
Right.
In a very different situation, different culture.
Right.
So
what is the different culture that you felt?
Actually, first, what I felt when I came to Nepal, like the language.
So you did not speak Nepali at that time?
I speak Nepali, but my accent was not a Nepali accent.
Okay.
Maybe it's kind of little mixed up with Hindi word or more Hindi slangs, and that makes your dress up and your way of talking, people can differentiate that she is not from Nepal.
She's not native.
She's not native. She's not native.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but that was a big challenge for me, and I had an opportunity soon when I came to Nepal. I had an opportunity to work in the community.
Okay.
There I learned Nepali in no more.
Wow.
So that was the big challenge.
Wow. And now you have come to America from far away and helping Nepali community to preserve and enjoy the Nepali culture with all the knowledge and experiences you have from Manipur to Kathmandu to various parts of Nepal, working in various parts of Nepal, and now living in America as an immigrant mother yourself, raising a child who has such enriched, parents. And I really would like to thank you for coming here today and sharing all your experience in our Cultural Nepal program, and I hope that we will continue our conversation in future. Thank you, Rukmini.
Thank you so much. And before we come to an end, you mentioned about the Nepali Women Global Network, and I feel very honored to represent that organization here in Boston. Though it's a global, so it has given a lot of opportunity for our Nepali sisters to come together in one platform. And very soon in March this 2016, hopefully we will be organizing an International Women's Day again, where all walk of women will come together. Like last year we did in MIT, and as you said, I'm very thankful for this talk program, and we'll continue our conversation.
Yes, and we're very lucky to have you in our community as well as in a studio, and we look forward to long work together.
Thank you. Thank you, Arunaji. Thank you so much.
Right. Thank you.
program, I just would like to invite Aruna Sharma to continue this speech and give a brief introduction and to honor our mothers. Thank you.
Thank you, Rukmini, and thank you all the NWGN members for bringing all us together to celebrate this special day. And thank you all of you for being here today, this globally designated Women's Day. My name is Aruna Sharma, and I am an immigrant mother born and raised in Kathmandu, like many of us you are here. I came here in 1990 to share and search for knowledge. I had everything possible at home. Loving and caring family, a profession that had a bright future, a peaceful and satisfying community. Yet, I had a fear of not being able to take care of myself and my mother, who gave me my life and was reason for my well-being economically. I needed to feel that I am as capable as any other experts that were imported for my country's development, mainly for water resource management. That is the only resource that my birthplace can depend for its global economic rat race. But today, I find myself in a place I never imagined, not only with the feeling of accomplishment, but also of loss, incapable sense, and back to square one again. And I wonder why. My only crime was that I followed my traditional path of Nepali wife who dedicates her life and work for children and family. And still, I feel strong and hopeful because of my past. Today, I have turned myself as a life coach, along with my goal to get back my engineering profession to inspire other stay-home immigrant mothers. And when I reflect my life as a woman, I have experienced the struggle of many others who have gone through the same exact path, even before the dawn of feminism. I have even been accused of turning into a stone-aged woman in America, just because I left my engineering job and to take less appreciated and unpaid challenges of taking care of my child and my family. Women and children have always been a big part of this universe and humanity. They tend to live their lives to take care and give unconditional love. They work hard and instead of getting reward or valued, they put up with the blame of being unproductive. Why is that? We women have come a long way to prove our equal potentials in this man-made economic world. Yet, the struggle of valuing dedicated mothers has remained unseen and unheard. We talk about equal wage in professional workforce, but do not talk about undocumented, priceless hard work that make us compassionate human beings. So, today I request all of you to think about wise and natural mothers who are automatically equipped to care for their children and nurture our next generation. The question is, are we smart enough to not underestimate her power and value her wisdom? Can her hard work for humanity be compared with the professional world that has monetary scale? How respectful are we to a stay-at-home mothers? There are many more questions that we still need to address, not only as a woman, but as a citizen of the world. Today is not enough, but it can be a beginning of our next journey. But today, I will tell you a little bit about Nepali versions of understanding life through this small video clip that I have developed. And so please sit back and relax for 2 minutes.
Abuse is not just about feminism and women's rights. It is a basic fact of life that touches everybody in one way or another. Life happens, And there are times in our lives we get confused and need help to seek answers. No matter how strong and good we are, we need support to examine ourselves, just like we need vitamins for our strength. Spirituality helps us build understanding and prevent or minimize abuse. In Nepal, we have learned to deal with abuse that we cannot avoid in old and rich rituals. There, little breaks in hard work for togetherness are embedded in everyday life. And here in America, we try to do the same through Nepali Women's Global Network. For that, we meet, we share, we sing, and we care. We think together to live better life and to be of service to others. We celebrate New Year, Teas, Thanksgiving, Christmas, and many more in between. Our gender is our coincidence, but our relationship is something we need to work together always. And thus we recognize a few amazing ladies who inspire all of us today.
Honoring few remarkable women of our members, and I'll just introduce you to you first. So we are planning to honor a few amazing women who has inspired us throughout those years. The first one is Miss Geeta Shrestha. I would like to introduce Miss Geeta Shrestha, who was a young and beautiful hostess. Geeta Shrestha was born and raised in Kathmandu, Nepal. She followed her husband to USA in 1989. She bore a child and maintained her economic independence as a business owner. All through her migration, she suffered deep and troubling abuse from her husband. But with the help, she managed to come out of it, raise her daughter single-handedly and successfully. Now a co-owner of trendy and high-end saloon in Newton, Massachusetts, Geeta practices Buddhism, which has helped her become happy. Geeta's message to all of us is never give up in your dream and goal, because each one of us have a limitless power to overcome difficulties. The next lady that we're going to honor today is Rukmini Kakle Basnet. Rukmini was born and raised in Urlabari, Moran, Nepal. She came to USA alone in 2002 for the well-being of her family. She became a US resident in 2004, a college graduate and a professional back home. Rukmini started her new journey in America from a coffee shop to presently senior supervisor at CBS. Ms. Rukmini has helped many other Nepali immigrants to find employment and to be a contributing factor of the community. Now she lives with her husband and 2 sons. She also owns a small store. The next young lady that we're going to honor today is Sophia. Sophia came to USA in 2006. She went to Northeastern University in Boston and graduated in finance and accounting. After her graduation, she worked as an accountant, but in 2013, she decided to quit her job and follow her dream of opening a Nepali takeout cafeteria. Now an owner of a brick and mortar shop with the name of Tasty Mama, she continues to inspire others in our community. And the next one is Samjana Guru. Samjana is a public school teacher and a former president of Boston Tamil Samaj. She has successfully raised funds and also won grant from Somerville Arts Council for Nepali Class Boston in 2016. She is deeply involved with Nepali community, especially to preserve Gurung cultures, and strives to build strong bonds among other communities. And with that, before enjoying today's other events, that has many facets of Nepali culture, I would like to request the above mentioned ladies to come forward and receive recognition. So, would you like to come forward? Alright. Samjana Gurung, could you please come forward, please? Okay, Rukmini, right. So I would like to call President to come forward and to honor them, and then all the ladies that I have mentioned. Okay. Samjana Gurung, please. And Sophia Kakali. Rita Chester, come forward. Rukmini Kakli. Thank you so much for inspiring us and your hard work. Rita Chester. Fixed, but we have some more programs, and we would like to thank you once again for your valuable time. And then please stay. And before I move forward, I would like to ask our honorary members to, if you want to say something.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I truly am honored. Rukmini Didi, NWGN, thank you for doing this year after year, for empowering women, for sending a message that, you know, we are still together and united, we can really do a lot more. Thank you so much.
I just want to say thank you very much. Thank you for honoring us. Thank you, NWGN. And thank you, Rukmini. You're great job. Thank you for thank you for appreciation.
Please have a seat.
Thank you for watching Cultural Nepal. In future episode, we'll continue to explore Nepali motherhood from many different perspectives.